Hello, just wanted to pop in before the show starts and say that I am aware that the video quality is not up to the standard that you would expect, and we will fix this problem going forward. I don't know if it was the connection or what we were using to film, but I will try to correct this issue going forward. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of a new show that me and Dominic, my friend here, are doing. We're both football fans, and we're both uh, well, I'm sick of just mainstream media talk shows about football because they're too formulaic. They only focus on like five teams, not fun for the rest of the league, and there's so many different things about it where it's just not it's they talk about the same things over and over again. They have analysts that sometimes just don't know what the heck they're talking about. So I'm gonna try my own show here. This is probably not the best way to be doing this because of I don't know, just everything that's you know Skype, but this is how we're doing it. So the formula of the show is we're gonna have 2 minutes to talk about each game that has been played over the course of the last week of football. Now I know this comes at a really weird time because week 15 already, but I just we just thought of this idea, so we're gonna do it now. Okay, so we're gonna lead off with Thursday game, which was the Chargers and Las Vegas. And Dominic, you have a minute to talk about whatever you want from the show or from the game, and go.
All right. Right now the Chargers are the best 5-9 team in the league. Yeah, 5-9. I'm not good at math. Um, Justin Herbert continues to impress. I don't think Anthony Lynn will be around much
I
longer,
hope not.
so that'd be nice. I don't think it's your turn yet. And the the Raiders got to get something going here. I mean, they did. They beat the Chiefs. Everyone thought they were good, and then they've had a Steelers-sized meltdown almost. So it'll be interesting to see where both teams go from here, because they're not going to win the division. Come on.
Okay, yeah, I completely agree. And also, that was a minute. So, what I want to say
I'm good at
is,
this.
yes, I hope Anthony Milton isn't around next year because he is a horrible coach. He doesn't know what the heck he's talking about half the time. He has just the stupidest decisions on fourth down or whatever, and it's just not a fun time for people. So yeah, that's that for the Chargers. But I am impressed that they're rare of continue and like doing I have so far. But I still believe in their future. I just don't think it's right now.
Yeah, I like Mariota though. He was good. He wasn't great, but like
Yeah, that's true. I was gonna talk about that. I kind of forgot.
it,
I was
it's been a while since he's played, so he's not going to come out and throw for like 500
yeah, it has
yards
been
in his
a
first game in a while, but
right. Yeah. I was mostly impressed with him. I was really impressed with him at the beginning, not so much at the end. But that's just kind of how the game went.
that's just the Raiders.
Yeah, that's the Raiders. Okay, next up is the Buffalo Denver game. Whatever. Dominic, you're on the clock.
All right, this one was not even close from the very beginning, and it saw Buffalo win the AFC East for the first time since what 95, 96. So it
Yeah,
hasn't
something
been
like
that
that.
long, but Josh Allen continues to get better. Uh, each game he plays, I know the Broncos. They're still in the weird post Peyton Manning thing and trying to figure themselves out. They haven't done that yet, and this was just not even close. Of course, with Von Miller being out, opting out of the season, that didn't help their defense, which was absolutely destroyed.
Okay.
I think that was a minute.
Yeah. It was close enough. Yeah, I pretty much agree. I think I was actually a little bit surprised, a bit more of a fight. Because it's kind of like one of those trap games where Buffalo could have easily fallen into like we're a better than you team. We're not gonna, take you seriously, and they did, and they did a really good job. So I am impressed. I'm impressed with Buffalo. Not so much with Denver. They need to find a quarterback. What the heck are they doing? I don't know. It's confusing. Very mismanaged team. I don't think John Elway is doing a fantastic job there. But that's
It's weird that John Elway is their general manager, and one of their biggest problems is quarterback.
Right, yeah. You'd think that's my biggest thing is I don't think he's a horrible GM, but I think he just can't judge a quarterback talent, and I don't get it because he was a quarterback. It just doesn't make much sense. Okay, next up is the Carolina Packer game on Saturday. Dominik, your time starts now.
This one was rough. Uh, it kind of reminded me of the Packers game against the Jaguars a few weeks ago, where it shouldn't have been as close as it was. So yeah, some questions there. But Teddy Bridgewater is just not that great. I don't know what's happened to him. I mean, he wasn't. He never was like really exceptional, but this is just something's not clicking. They could probably start XFL legend PJ Walker, who did great against the Lions. So, um, yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
Another team with an interesting offseason. Carolina.
Yeah, I think. All right, I do think that Teddy Bridgewater isn't playing the best football in the world. However, I don't think he's their biggest problem. It's kind of weird because I think that Bridgewater, he's not playing that bad. Like he had like second in completion percentage going into that game. It's just the defense for one is very bad. They need to find a defense, and I'm confused of why they fired their GM now compared to like. But I think it's interesting that the game was as close as it was. Like it was only a 7-point game. The Panthers have been able to stay in most of their games. They just can't win them. But I think I'm not impressed with the Packers. But I think that they might be the best in the NFC, especially after the team we're going to talk about later down on this list.
One more thing about the Panthers. I like how I spent all of this talking about the Panthers and not Green Bay. Was it? I don't think Matt Rule should be fired after one season. I think he's kind of like a slow burn thing. Of course, whether or not he's gonna devolve into like the Gaither Patricia type of head coach, that remains to be seen. After all, he's only been here a year, but I don't know. The record doesn't show it, but I think Carolina's future is very bright, and Green Bay doesn't need to have a bright future. They already win like 10 games a season every year.
Yes, completely agree. Just so everyone knows, we are both Detroit Lions fans, so there is some biases here. I'm not going to pretend like there isn't, but
fans is a strong
I
word.
agree with you on Matt Rule. Like, I think that's a little too. I agree with you on Matt to like. I don't think you fire him quite yet, but I guess we'll see. Okay, next up is the Houston Texans and Indianapolis Colts game. Dominik?
Oh, this one was also brutal, but like not the entire game, just the end. But yeah, and it's kind of interesting, because the DeForest Buckner trade, that the one that sent him to Indianapolis. See, that was a good trade that's worked out for them. On the other end, you have Houston without Hopkins, and we we saw in this game like what happened. Who has become the better team with off-season moves? Philip Rivers. He's 38 and he he's he's great. Frank Reich is the anti John Elway, a quarterback, a former quarterback, excuse me, who can manage a team to greatness. Of course, there are differences between the head coach and general manager, but more or less the same.
Right.
And Watson needs more weapons.
I think. Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's that. I think Philip Rivers is a fine quarterback at the moment, but I don't think he is amazing. I would feel better about them if they had Rivers. I just think at this point his arm is a little too. Yeah. I think it's just. I would. I think they have good wide receivers. I just would feel better about them if they had a different quarterback. And for Houston, ever with Bill O'Brien, completely ruined the team. And I don't see that turning around very quickly. But I feel bad for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. I just wondered what Deshaun Watson would look like if he had played with, Andre Johnson, Hopkins, and Arian Foster, all those guys. That could be a deadly team.
that team would have won a Super Bowl, or at least been in one. Okay, so next up is the Detroit Lion and Tennessee game. Yeah, good luck with this one.
This one was not even close. I didn't expect it to be, but because the defense is just bad. Ryan Tannehill is nothing like he was in Miami. He is great, and he has proven to be a wonderful addition for the Titans. And they pick up their what was it that I saw their first 10-win season since 2008 2009.
Oh wow.
Yeah. They're definitely a much better team than they were last year. They were only 9-7 and beat the Patriots. They pulled off some impressive stuff last year, but now like they're much better, and they didn't change a whole lot. So yeah, a deadly Titans team is just awesome.
Yes, I agree. Here's the thing. Detroit, sorry for the technical errors we're going to have in this episode. But anyway, Detroit, they need some serious rebuilding on that defense. That defense is atrocious. They couldn't stop. Like, I was making the joke while we were watching it. I was like, I could pick apart this defense. It's so bad. There's just a lot of holes in it, and I'm surprised that Derrick Henry only had 157. I thought he was going to break the Adrian Peterson mark of what is it, 296, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for Tennessee. I hope they do well in the playoffs. I think that division isn't quite settled yet, but and for Detroit, one quick thing, Matthew Stafford, I really hope he goes to a team next year that isn't the Lions, that to get him a chance to prove what he can really do. I think Indy would be a great fit for him. But yeah, anyway, that's what I was thinking. So yeah, moving on. This is the Chicago-Minnesota game.
Yeah, this game, honestly, I didn't really care about it. But Yeah. So this one was really interesting because the Bears are in the middle of a Raiders like collapse, and the Vikings were on the upswing. They had a couple of setbacks, but they started the season 1-5. They've been pretty good. Cousins has been inconsistent. Dalvin Cook is awesome, but when you have a team that makes Mitchell Trubisky look good, you have a problem.
Yes, completely agree. I am really surprised actually by how Trubisky has been playing recently. I don't good. I am. Did you? I am impressed of the Vikings. I did pick them for my game. I thought they might win, but I wasn't positive just based on how they've been playing. If I think the chances are a little bit slimmer now than they were entering the week, but if Arizona loses out, the Bears actually have a shot at that 7, which would be interesting. I don't know if they do anything in the playoffs, but that's just an interesting thing, especially since all of the people that are like, oh, it's Trubisky's fault that they've been so bad. I don't think it is. I think it's Matt Nagy. His offense is not that good. Like, his play calling is bad. Whatever. They're winning now, so doesn't really matter.
Trubisky has been better since he took over for Nick Foles. The beginning of the season, he was kind of except for the Lions game in week 1, of course.
Yeah, he was Mitchell Trubisky in the rest of this.
He finally looks like a second overall pick.
Yes. Next up is the Seattle-Washington game.
Washington has proven capable of miraculous things this season, like beating the undefeated Steelers, but alas, they could not pull it off this game, even though the Giants proved it was possible to beat the Seahawks. Well, at least for an NFC East team to be able to do so, I should say. So that leaves both the NFC East and West at a very interesting position. Dwayne Haskins is not good, and he's gotten into some little trouble that I don't really care to discuss because I just do not like him. And it'll be interesting to see like what happens to him in the off season. And I just gotta say it right now, Washington has had a lot of QB issues.
Yes, fair share of QB issues.
Russell Wilson, most part.
I think I think Seattle is very beatable. I think they've kind of I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Russell Wilson. I don't know play calling. I don't know what. But in recent weeks, they haven't been playing very well. Their defense has been playing a little better, but it's very possible to beat them. I have a hard time seeing them going further into the playoffs than like the card spot or maybe a divisional round. It kind of depends on who they play.
Yeah.
But I was surprised that Washington was able to keep it where they were actually driving down and had a chance to win at the end of the game. I was surprised by that. But Dwayne Haskins is Dwayne Haskins. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. I don't even think Alex Smith is playing amazingly. He's just a check down guy. But I think he's better than Dwayne Haskins. If they had an actual quarterback, they could very well easily win that division. And maybe, with the defense that Washington has, they could make some waves in the playoffs if they had the offense to pull that off.
Right. Their defense is really good, though.
Okay, next up is New England, Miami.
Now, in the Brady era, it's been a brutal sight for Dolphins fans going into a game against the Patriots and expecting the worst. Last year, it was week 17, I believe. The Dolphins beat them by
Yeah,
I think it was like
you're right.
yeah. It was still impressive, and it was a sign of things to come. Miami is one of the best teams in the AFC. They're great in their own division, where they're locked in a battle with Buffalo. They probably won't win the division, but they'll at least make the playoffs. Both Fitzpatrick and Tua have been great. Brian Flores is a great head coach. The pieces are finally starting to click for Miami, and it's so refreshing to see that. And meanwhile, the Patriots are on a free fall. Cam Newton is clearly not the answer. I don't know what has happened to him. He was not exceptional before he went down with COVID, and I mean he had good games, but after he returned, he just hasn't been the same, even with the 45-0 shutout of the Chargers.
Yes, I hear what you're saying. I think
Next
Miami. Yes, I think Miami. They're surprised me with actually surprisingly pretty good. I like their defense. I like their coach. I think Brian Flores is one of the few coaches coming off of the Belichick tree that are actually like good, and they know how to command that team. I think they, but the biggest problem with them, I think, is I'm not convinced of Tua yet. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a quarterback who will win you. He'll play off script, fantastic. Like he can rally a team around him. Tua, I'm not sure yet. I don't know. He kind of right now just kind of looks like a game manager, and that's fine if they have the talent to pull it off. I'm just not 100% sure they do. But I'll be interested to see what happens. Now they actually still can lose that playoff spot if they lose out. Them and Baltimore have the same record, so Baltimore could jump them, and they have a way easier schedule than Miami does. Although Miami's been playing really good, so it's not necessarily a shoo-in that they will lose that playoff spot. But even if they do, I think they should be happy with the season because it's gone better than I think most people expected. And real quick,
they blew out the 49ers.
yes. And one quick other note: Cam Newton just looks horrible. I don't know what happened to him, but he looks bad recently. And I've seen a bunch of Carolina Panthers fans that are like, "I wish we would have kept him because we keep losing Bridgewater." Have you watched Newton this year? Very quickly, this one shouldn't take long. Baltimore, Jacksonville.
Yeah, not much to say. Doug Marrone will probably be fired after this season. Jacksonville could get Lawrence. It's entirely possible with the Jets win over the Rams. That we'll get to soon. Minshew has not been great. Glennon was the best quarterback that they've had all season, which is I don't even know what to say about that. I'm gonna be honest. So yeah, the Jacksonville is heading in a very interesting direction. It's not up, but it's not that down. It's kind of like teetering in the middle. I think brighter days like Carolina are ahead for them, but that remains to be seen. I guess we'll have to wait until April.
I think better days could be ahead if they get rid of Doug Marrone. Doug Marrone is awful. I don't know. They haven't fired him yet. They fired their GM, but not Doug Marrone. I think he's a bigger problem. And I'm sorry, but I said this before the season. You do not go into a season with Gardner Minshew as your starting quarterback. You don't do that. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. It's clearly not. Their defense, which was what, Saxonville was once the best thing about their team, completely gone. It's completely fallen apart. They need to rebuild that from the ground up. And Baltimore, I think, has gotten off a little bit easy in terms of, I don't think they're playing amazing. I don't think Lamar Jackson is a good – I think he's a good runner. Don't get me wrong. I have yet to be convinced that he can pass to win. I don't think he can do that. But it's Jacksonville, so he didn't even need to try. San Francisco, Dallas.
Yeah, this one I really wasn't sure what to expect because both teams are dealing with a ton of issues. With injuries and all, but Dallas put up a pretty convincing injury to probably just barely keep them in the race for the NFC East.
The NFC least, if you will.
Yeah. Well, San Francisco, who looks nothing like the team that made it to the Super Bowl last year, which not entirely their fault, I know. They'll probably not going to be in the division race. It's going to go to either who are the other? Oh, the Rams.
Rams or Seattle. Those are the.
Yeah, and Rams. It's going to be the Rams or the Seahawks. Maybe the Cardinals. We'll see.
Cardinals are. It could be the Cardinals, but they're kind of far back now. They'd have to, like the rest of the teams, would have to lose out, and the Cardinals would have to get a few other breaks. But I guess it's possible. But if you're talking about the Dallas, they need Dak back pretty bad next year because their offense has been very bad without. And I don't like Andy Dalton. I think he's a fine backup, but I don't think he's good enough to be a starter. But in terms of San Francisco. I know the injuries have piled up and all, but they just do not look like the same group that they did last year. Obviously, partially injuries, but yeah, I think they'll be back next year if they can keep a healthy team, maybe get a better quarterback. Right now, they would be, and what's most concerning for me is that yes, I know they heavy on defense, but defense is playing very well, and we're supposed to be, a potential coaching candidate next year. So I don't know. That's kind of concerning. You never know. Maybe it's just the injuries. They do have a lot of people out.
49ers select Trevor Lawrence in the draft.
Okay, next up is Philadelphia, Arizona.
This game really surprised me. Sorry. It was another awesome game for DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray playing a lot better. He did great to start the season, and then kind of fell off, and then now is starting to get back on track. So that's good. But the Cardinals almost gave up a comeback to Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. Of course, true. I really like Hurts. He's way better than Wentz, and I think Wentz is done. Maybe not in the NFL, but at least in Philadelphia, I can see Hurts taking over. I don't know if he'll be as great as Vic or McNabb, but he'll definitely be a lot better.
Yes. I don't know what the heck happened with Carson Wentz, because Okay, even last year, he basically played that team to the playoffs. Like, they didn't have anything around him, and he managed. It's just a confidence thing. I really don't know, but it's concerning. And totally, I agree. Jalen Hurts has looked really good recently. I think that he probably will win the job in Philadelphia. I've heard a few rumors that there's links between Frank Reich, because he was the offensive coordinator in Philadelphia when they went to the Super Bowl, and Carson Wentz. So I heard that there might be interested in something at the end of the game or whatever. I hope that doesn't happen. I'd rather have
Wentz to
Stafford there just because
Indianapolis.
I don't know. Maybe that is what Wentz needs, like a change of scenery. I don't know, but yeah. I'm impressed. I'm glad that Arizona has slipped out of their losing streak that they were in there for a while. I think the formula to beat them has shown to people. It's like, hey, this is how you beat them. You keep Kyler Murray in the pocket, let him the right or to the, you're physical with them, and they have a hard time with that. But and that's what they do into the playoffs.
Arizona.
Next up is the Jets.
Sorry, Arizona looked like an
Rams
team.
game. I'm sorry. You can go back. You can go back to Arizona if you want.
Yeah, this will be quick. Arizona looked like an elite team at the beginning of the year. I think they have what it takes, at least in a year or two. But this year, this was just a foundation.
Yeah,
definitely,
yeah, I
definitely
agree
better than Carolina or Jacksonville. But all the pieces are there.
Yes. I think they need like one more piece on offense, maybe like a better run or like a better running game or something, like a better
Andre
running
Johnson.
back, and then a few more defensive pieces, probably like a rush the passer, and then one probably like a linebacker or something. And I think they could be set for a while, especially if Kyler Murray continues to grow.
And who knows how much longer Fitzgerald will be in the league, though he'll probably play until he's like 57.
Probably. But yeah, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, Fitzgerald, they're going to need to replace him probably in the upcoming draft, I would assume. Okay, now Jets Reds.
Oh man, I was looking forward to this game. It's so weird. Like the Rams are just so inconsistent. They were in 2018. They were one of the most explosive offenses in the league, and they got completely dominated by the Patriots in Super Bowl 53. They had a pretty good 2019, not great, but this
Yeah, they were
game,
9-7.
this game, it reminded me of that Super Bowl. Of course, there was more scoring in this game, but to allow yourself to be outcoached by Adam Gase, that's embarrassing. But
that is the epitome of embarrassing.
But even though it was a win for the Jets, it's a major loss for them too because of Trevor.
Yeah, draft capital took a big hit after that. I gotta be honest. I was hoping for a 0-16 Jets.
That's such a Jets move.
Yeah. It is. It's kind of like how Atlanta, like they lost with that touchdown with Todd Gurley at the beginning of the year. It's kind of like that. But yeah, I'm very upset with the Rams just because I was hoping for another 0-16 season in the NFL, and to blow it is just incredible. And that took a really big hit from what I thought of them, because I was thinking, they might be the best team in the NFC. They're well rounded. They have potential to be a Super Bowl competitor, and then you go and lose to the Jets. That's unacceptable.
Frank Gore is still great
Yeah.
somehow,
Yes, I know.
even
Well,
on the Jets.
yeah. Okay. Next up is Kansas City, New Orleans.
Yeah. This game I was really excited for. It looked like it was gonna be a fun game, and it delivered. Breeze, however, not good. He did get better as the game went on, but him him being hurt didn't really do much for the team. I think they only lost the one game to Philadelphia while he was gone. But yeah, he just didn't look good to start, and they, they ended up losing. So it'll be interesting to see like how this will affect them by the end of week 17.
Yeah, I think that the injury of Breeze probably affected them more than their record says, because they kind of lost their sort of style on offense. And I know they played kind of similar in both of them, but Drew Brees is just a different player at the minute than what he used to be. I fully believe that Drew Brees belongs in the Hall of Fame. I don't think there's any question. He's a great quarterback, but he's old. He doesn't have an arm anymore. Barely throw over like 15 yards. I think that's a problem. And when you're playing a team like Kansas City, you have to come out of the gates like immediately. Otherwise, you're kind of screwed. And that's what happened here.
Yeah, I think Hill needs to develop a little more, and then in the event of a Breeze retirement, they could be very good. And if I remember correctly, I think Michael Thomas was out for this game with an injury. I could be wrong, but I think I saw that. So
He was out.
That might have hurt them too.
Yeah, I probably did. But yeah, he was out. I do agree that I think Hill has the potential to be a good quarterback, but I just don't see it at the moment. I think it'll be really interesting once Breeze retires between Winston and Hill. I know Winston's only under a 1-year deal, but Sean Payton said he has the opportunity to fight for the job next year. So if he sticks around, so that'll be interesting. Okay, now you get the Cleveland game from Sunday night.
Oh yeah, this one was really good. Notable for the Giants having two former Browns tight ends coach. Freddie Kitchens was calling the plays on offense in place of Jason Garrett, who went down with COVID-19, and then Colt McCoy, who started for an injured Daniel Jones, and they were still outmatched. Cleveland has done amazing. They've really turned themselves around. Mayfield has gotten better. The defense still needs a lot of work, but at head coach and quarterback, two positions that have seen a lot of action in Cleveland since their revival in 1999. It's some stability there has been beneficial to them, and it is shown on the field, and they absolutely deserve to be 10-4. They're playing like a 10-4 team.
Yes, I am impressed that they haven't really lost to anyone that they should lose. You get a lot of those teams like Green Bay where they just have these trap games where they fall into them where it's like they should dominate this team and they don't. They almost lose, or some cases do. Cleveland hasn't done that this year, and I like that. I think the Jason Garrett thing affected the Giants quite a bit. Not having him, their offense just didn't click at all. And I don't blame Colt McCoy. I don't think he's an amazing quarterback, don't get me wrong, but I think he's a serviceable quarterback, and that was proven because he beat Seattle. So don't tell me they couldn't have beat Cleveland. I think there was a chance there, but good on Cleveland for winning. And then you get the Monday night game of Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
Like the Saints and Chiefs game was fun. This game was fun to watch. Or no, this game was funny. The Chiefs and Saints was fun to watch.
I agree.
so yeah, Ben Roethlisberger looked absolutely horrible in the first half. The offense hasn't been great. Snell, who filling in for James Conner, he looks pretty good. I mean, he's not great, but I think he's been a pretty decent placement. But they will probably benefit with having him back. But Roethlisberger is just not good.
Yeah, Roethlisberger's old.
The,
That's you can say what you're gonna say.
the offense just didn't look that good, and the defense has struggled with a couple of injuries, and it shows that this is not the same team at this point in the season that it was, at the beginning.
Right, yeah. Totally agree. I would have been really interested to see what this game would have been like with Joe Burrow, because I think it might have even been like a bigger loss for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Their offense is just so ineffective. At one point, Roethlisberger had like -2 yards and like a fumble and an interception, and it was like deep into the second quarter too. It wasn't just like, oh, the first drive or whatever. No. It was a bad first half. You remember like last week when he said that if I continue playing bad, I need to retire? Hey, dude, I think your time has come. I've seen a lot of Pittsburgh fans that are like, I so want them to just lose like the rest of the year. Not that I really don't like the Steelers or whatever. I just think it would be interesting. I think Tomlin needs to get a better control of that team, because like you get like Juju Smith-Schuster or whatever dancing on their midfield logos of the teams they play. That hurts them, and I think I've seen a lot of Steelers fans that are upset by that, and like you got to have control over your team, and yeah, I completely agree with that, and I think they've been a little unprepared for the last 2 games.
Yeah. Fun fact: I don't know when this happened, but Cleveland doesn't have a midfield logo. So
yeah, I saw that. I don't know when that happened either.
So yeah, they're next in kind of, because they already played the once and it didn't end well for Cleveland, but the rematch, I think, with everything that has happened to both these teams since then, I think it's going to be pretty interesting.
Yes, totally agree. I can't wait for that game. Although Pittsburgh's next game, they play Indy, that could be that could be a problem for Pittsburgh in terms of winning that one. Cleveland is their last game.
Yeah, I think Colts and Steelers could go either way.
Yeah, I think it could, but I think at the moment, like the way Pittsburgh is playing currently, it could go either way. But
yeah.
We're gonna save our predictions for next week. So quick little thing. This show is once day after the week has ended, and then once on probably Friday or Saturday, depending on like what's going on around that time, and that's when we're going to do our predictions for what we think will happen into next week. So that's that. But that's just one little thing here. It's come to my attention that I skipped a game. Uh,
I didn't even realize that.
Tampa Bay Atlanta.
Oh man, and you skipped a really fun game too.
I know.
I don't know exactly when this happened, but Atlanta's been the king of blowing leads. They haven't recovered from 28-3, and just they've had like what 3 or 4 games already this season in which they counting this one that they've blown leads. It's incredible. They need to finish games. I think that's their biggest problem. The defense is a lot of concern. The offense is actually pretty good. The Ryan Jones and Gurley and even Calvin Ridley. But yeah, the defense is an area of huge concern. And if you're gonna go up 17-0 at halftime, and then if you're gonna go up 17-0 at halftime against Tom Brady, you need to add to that lead and prevent him from doing anything. The Bucs have kind of stagnated since the signing of Antonio Brown. They still had great games, but yeah, this was the game of the Bucs proved that they could actually be a cohesive team.
Yeah, I think that what I have mixed emotions about Tampa because I wanted to see them succeed at the beginning of the year, but they kind of haven't. They've kind of I don't know. It's just been so up and down with them. Like I think part of the reason is Arians doesn't have them prepared for all of their games. Like they just some of the games they come out and they're just not ready. And they were fortunate that they played Atlanta today and they were able to recover. But when you play in the playoffs and when you play in a potential Super Bowl or whatever, you can't just not show up for half the game and win. So they need to fix that. Their defense is just super inconsistent.
You can also see like the effects of not having no off season or virtually no off season or preseason has done to some of these teams. It's not pretty.
Yeah, I agree. I think they would probably be a better unit if they had a preseason. But yeah, I think at this point in the year, it's a little hard to swing the we're just not prepared argument because like it's week 15.
They're likely a victim of circumstance rather than anything going on within the team. But it's entirely possible, and I'm just wrong.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know either. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens to the team and if they can, kind of not fall behind as much like that.
Would be ideal for them.
Okay,
yes.
so that is all of our games. Yeah. So that is all of the games that we have for this week. Dominik, any closing thoughts?
Yeah. I think the playoffs are going to be really fun to watch, and these last 2 weeks, of course. Once 2021 happens, things will probably be. They won't be like exactly calm, but they'll be calmer. Okay. And also Merry Christmas, because it'll probably be after Christmas by the time we do the next one. We'll see.
Yeah, probably. I agree. Merry Christmas. Thank you all for watching. I am happy that I hope this show finds some sort of an audience. And trust me, we're gonna figure this out in terms of like what we're gonna use to record, how to make this a better experience to watch. We're gonna work on it. We're gonna try some different things. This was filmed on Skype, which you can probably see.
This is
I
a
might,
test run.
we might, yeah, pretty much. It's, it is the pilot. We might end up using Zoom. We might end up using Discord. I just don't know. We need to figure out some stuff, and hopefully that the show will continue to improve throughout. And I'm hoping that you guys continue to watch or start watching, or I don't know. So yeah, yeah, I'm glad we did this. I think it was fun.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah. Okay, this has been the brand new show, NFL32. If you guys have a different name suggestion or whatever, I guess comment down below. But
This
I
whole
kind of
thing
like the
is
name.
just
But,
put
that's what...
together in like a couple hours.
Right. So yeah, I'm excited to start the new show. It'll probably be Friday, or well, no, Friday's Christmas. I don't know when we're gonna do it, but we're doing another one. Probably Thursday or Saturday, or I don't know, somewhere in there. We'll figure it out.
Usually.
All right. Well, see you all in the next episode. Goodbye.